It's one of the most passionate basketball regions in the United States, a place that produced NBA legends like Brandon Roy, Jamal Crawford, and Damian Lillard. And yet, the Pacific Northwest, a region that once held two beloved NBA franchises, now only has one team. Seattle lost the Sonics, Vancouver lost the Grizzlies, and for decades the NBA has been hesitant to return. But why? Why would the NBA keep turning its back on a region with deep basketball roots, rabid fans, and booming tech money? This is the full story of the NBA's complex relationship with the Pacific Northwest, and why the league hasn't made its way back. In the late 20th century, the Pacific Northwest was rising in both population and cultural relevance. Seattle got the Supersonics in 1967. They won an NBA championship in 1979, had a cult following in the 90s with Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp, and were a playoff mainstay for much of their history. Vancouver, on the other hand, got its first and only NBA team in 1995, the Grizzlies, as part of the NBA's Canada expansion alongside the Toronto Raptors. With two teams and an emerging basketball scene, the region seemed poised to be a long-term NBA stronghold. But then, things started to fall apart. Vancouver was excited when the NBA came to town. The city had just hosted Expo 86 and was preparing for the 2010 Winter Olympics. It was growing fast, but the Grizzlies were a disaster from the start. Over 6 seasons, they went 101 to 359, the worst record of any expansion team in that period. Bad draft picks, no big-name signings, and poor management doomed the franchise. But it wasn't just the on-court product. The Canadian dollar was weak compared to the US high taxes, and player reluctance to live in Vancouver made it hard to build a roster. The NBA lockout in 1998 hurt momentum. By 2001, the team was sold to an American owner, Michael Heisley.
I intend to do everything in my power to make this franchise a success in Vancouver,
who promptly moved them to Memphis. The Pacific Northwest lost its first NBA team. Seattle was a completely different story. The Sonics were loved, they were successful, and they were deeply woven into the identity of the city. But in the early 2000s, things started to fracture. The team needed a new arena. Key Arena was aging and small by NBA standards. The city government and the team's ownership, led by Howard Schultz, the Starbucks CEO, couldn't agree on funding for a new venue.
Our families have been raised here, our businesses have been built here, and everything about this ownership group and everything about the Seattle Storm and the Seattle Supersonics is Northwest. And we do not want to see that in any way go away.
In 2006, Schultz sold the Sonics to Clay Bennett, an Oklahoma businessman. Fans were promised the team would stay.
I honestly believe that this group led by Clay wants to stay in Seattle, and I believe that they are better positioned than we are.
They were lied to. By 2008, the Sonics were gone, moved to Oklahoma City to become the Thunder. And just like that, one of the most iconic teams in NBA history disappeared. You might be thinking, surely the NBA regrets this. Surely Seattle would be a lock for expansion or relocation, but year after year, the league hesitates. Why? The answer is complicated. The NBA wants any new team to have a state-of-the-art arena. Expansion is about money, and other markets offer new TV territories, like Las Vegas and Mexico City. Politics between owners, cities, and relocation rules can get messy. And most importantly, the NBA doesn't need to expand right now financially. Seattle has become a prime candidate, yes, but it's stuck waiting behind more politically favorable or high-growth options. Las Vegas has been the elephant in the room for years. It already has the NHL Golden Knights, NFL Raiders, and WNBA Aces. The NBA has hosted Summer League there for years and has strong ties to the city. If the NBA adds 2 new teams, one of them will almost certainly be Vegas. That leaves only one other spot, and Seattle is in competition with Mexico City, Nashville, Louisville, and even a return to Vancouver. The Pacific Northwest could be left out again. One of the most surprising things about the NBA's avoidance of the Pacific Northwest is the wealth in the region. Seattle is home to Amazon, Microsoft, and a flood of tech millionaires and billionaires, so why hasn't one of them stepped up? Actually, they have. Chris Hansen, a hedge fund manager, tried for years to buy and bring back the Sonics. Russell Wilson, Macklemore, and other local celebrities have supported the push. But without full government support for an arena, those plans stalled. Only recently, with the renovation of Climate Pledge Arena for the NHL's Kraken, have those hopes been revived. Amid all this, Portland remains the region's only NBA city. The Trailblazers have been a staple of the league since 1970. They won a title in 1977 and reached the finals multiple times, but even Portland isn't completely safe. After the death of owner Paul Allen in 2018, the franchise has been in flux. Ownership is unclear, and there are rumors of a future sale. Some have even speculated that the team could be moved, though nothing concrete has emerged. Still, the fragility of Portland only reinforces the instability of NBA basketball in the Northwest. Here's what makes the NBA's avoidance even more painful: the fans. Few regions boast a basketball culture as deep-rooted as the Pacific Northwest. From high school legends to college dominance, think Gonzaga and the University of Washington, this region breathes hoops. Seattle produces NBA stars: Jamal Crawford, Brandon Roy, Isaiah Thomas, DeJounte Murray, Paolo Banchero. The talent pipeline is rich. Streetball leagues draw massive crowds. Local fans still wear Sonics gear like it never went away. The NBA knows this. They see the fan support, but so far, the culture hasn't been enough to overcome the business concerns. If there's one constant in this story, it's the passion of Pacific Northwest basketball fans. Seattle basketball culture never died. It just went underground. Pro-ams like the Crossover showcase NBA talent each summer. High schools continue to produce elite prospects. The city turned out massive support for preseason NBA games and the WNBA's Seattle Storm. The NBA knows there's money to be made in Seattle. It's just a matter of when and how, not if. There's a small but growing push to bring the NBA back to Vancouver. The city has grown dramatically since the Grizzlies left. It's a global hub, has strong infrastructure, and has shown support for the Toronto Raptors. But there are major obstacles. Currency differences still exist. The NBA may prefer Mexico City or Montreal for international expansion. Vancouver's legacy with the NBA is not good. Still, some believe the city deserves a second shot, especially if paired with Seattle to reignite a regional rivalry. Here's the good news. Expansion is coming. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has repeatedly said the league will expand, likely to 32 teams. Seattle is always mentioned as a front-runner, but timing matters. TV deals are being renegotiated. Streaming platforms are changing how fans consume games. Gambling integration is reshaping league partnerships. Until these big deals are finalized, expansion is on pause. So yes, Seattle may get a team again, but it could take years. And until then, the Pacific Northwest remains underrepresented. And when it does, Seattle is widely considered the frontrunner. The new Climate Pledge Arena is ready. The fan base is vocal. The city is primed. The Pacific Northwest may finally get what it's waited years for. But whether that's one team, two teams, or another heartbreak remains to be seen. Until then, the region remains one of the great NBA mysteries, a passionate basketball land with no team to cheer for, a silent arena in a city that never stopped believing. So why does the NBA avoid the Pacific Northwest? It's not for lack of fans, money, or history. It's about timing, politics, and priorities. The league wants to expand, but only when everything lines up perfectly. For now, Seattle waits. Vancouver waits, and the Pacific Northwest remains a sleeping giant, just waiting for the NBA to wake it up. Let us know in the comments, should Seattle and Vancouver get another team? And who would you root for if they returned? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories behind sports cities, expansion dramas, and the future of the game.